Hi, my name's Jo Harris, and today's blog we're going to be looking at learning theory, applications and my reflections. So there's four main learning theories we're going to look at today. One is behaviourism, cognitivism, constructivism and connectivisms. Lots of isms there, so they're tongue twisters, but we'll see how we go. So let's look at the first one, which is behaviourism. And it's based on behavioural psychology from the 1950s, and it's a classic Pavlov's dog. And if you don't know about that, you can Google it, but I won't get into it now for the sake of time. And that basically students learn through practice, reshaping what they learn and positive experiences. The teacher's role is to create a series of steps in programmed instructions with a predefined end, and my role is really that of a supervisor, because the goal is that I will, as a teacher, will know that the student has learned because I've observed a change in their behaviour, and that the children change their behaviour because they attribute it internally. So they know that they feel good about learning. And some examples of this are online quizzes where you get tested on or quizzed on facts, concepts and skills, and drills and practice, and a reward system. And I know my daughter is in grade 2, and they've got this great reward system involving stickers, which they get to trade in for gifts and stuff like that. So I think, it's also known as behaviourist model. But my reflection on this is that it seems to me to be a very foundational way of an introduction to learning. Great for the primary, the little babies in schooling, to get them to feel good about learning, to create some foundation tracks in their brain that learning equates to feeling good and rewards. So let's look at the next one, which is cognitivism. It's also known as cognitivist, and it's based on the work of Paget, which is a 3-stage processing of sensory, memory and long-term memory, and the work of J. Anderson, which is on 2 types of memory, which is declarative and procedural. I won't get into those for the sake of time again, but the students learn through mental processing. That is how information is processed. So it's about enabling the students and that they inquire strategies to process information. And the teacher, my job as a teacher using this theory of learning is to attain and maintain my learners' attention and be a modeler of those thinking strategies, because the goal here is to change the students' mental behaviour, because they learn how to think in a way. So the rehearsals, visual aids, repetition and review and summarising and mind mapping tools are some examples of ways that you could and bring this theory to life in my classroom, and also by the use of mnemonics. And my reflection here, I think it's a very important tool to grow into being a great learner and a student of tomorrow. So I see this as a core foundation skill development way of using this theory. Now, the next one is social constructivism. It's also known as learner-centered learning, and it's based on the work of Vygotsky, who's known for his zone of proximal development, and J. Bruner, where learning is an active process. And the students learn through construction of knowledge, through socialising, and they really need to be self-led, so there needs to be some maturity here in the learner. And the teacher's role is to pose leading questions, group students to learn through and with each other, and really be a facilitator, because the goal is to create lifelong sticky learning experiences. And the examples of ways that I could bring this theory to life in my classroom is through the use of group discussion, for example, and group tasks. So my reflection on this tool is it's great for upper school and great for kids, even littlies, who can do a project together on a computer or something. And to me, it's a skill that's needed in preparation for connectivism theory of learning. So let's have a look at connectivism, which is the last one. It's also known as digital age learning, and it's about learning as a creative process. And the students learn through informal network technology enabled environments, and that they connect information because they have a desire to know more, and that they have the decision-making skills about deciding for themselves what they need to learn. And the teacher's role is to nurture those connections between fields, people and organisations, for example. And the goal here is that the students are able to do something, that they actually learn, and then there's an actuation, that they actually produce something. And some examples of ways that I could bring this to life in my classroom is through the use of coursework, email, use of forums, blogs, YouTube, and this is a great example, this blog right here. I'm learning information and I'm producing something with it. I'm just not learning it for the sake of learning it and knowing it for myself. So how can I take this knowledge and give it back to the world? So my reflection is, bam, this is the goods. I love it. Okay, well, that's it for me this week, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye for now. Jo Harris.